Hello and welcome back to another video. Uh, I would like to talk about a very sensitive topic today, and that's the topic of or around segregation. So, I think when people think about segregation, it's always the US movement, the civil rights movement that comes in their heads. But I've noticed one thing, and I know, I'm going to get a shitload of hate for that, but well, here we go anyway. So I think that in many parts of life, segregation it's very much needed for Black people to heal, for Black people to flourish. Because one thing I've seen, anytime Black people get themselves together, just like the Civil Rights Movement, just like the Black Panther Party, white people are one, threatened, and secondly, threatened, and thirdly, threatened as hell. So we always find a way to destroy the healing process, to destroy the movement in general. That's the same way how we painted the whole Black Lives Matter movement, but in a bad light. How we made them look like thugs, like thieves, like criminals. Meanwhile, it's a proven fact that many of the Black Lives Matter rallies that were actually kind of like hijacked or that ended in violence didn't end in violence because of the Black Lives Matter protestants or the participants of the demonstrations or the whole movement, but because it was a right-winged kind of like hijacking of the movement and um, bringing problem to those rallies. I'm not saying that every Black Lives Matter participant is a saint. That's not the thing. Um, Everybody is human, everybody makes mistakes, everybody has emotions. And I think what we need to understand is that in the matter of Black Lives Matter or the general Black Power movement, or the general pride movement around Black people and their heritage and their Blackness and their history is loaded with emotions. And that's needed, that's human, and that's a good thing. Because if there are no emotions, you put less effort. That's normal. So nobody should be coming up with statements like, oh, you're all in your feelings when it comes to racism. Oh, why are you always so emotional? Because if you're Black and your skin color is the sole or the main threat for your safety, you cannot leave emotions aside. Like, how the hell is that supposed to be possible? Like, how do white people reason and telling Black people to leave their emotions aside when their entire existence is threatened by the fact that white people are hating on them because of the color of their skin? How do you want emotions out of that? Impossible. And then what I was saying in the beginning, segregation was forced on Black people because white people hated them for being Black. Segregation, when many Black people are like, oh, I want nothing to do with Black people. Like, I'm not speaking on the behalf of Black people, okay? I'm saying from my point of view as a white woman, Black people can't heal if we don't leave them the fuck alone. They can't build if we don't leave them alone, because throughout human history we've never left them alone. Anytime they build something, every time they achieve something, every time they get somewhere, we come and destroy that shit. We destroy everything they've built. That's how the Tulsa massacre happened. That's how Central Park was built. That is how the whole continent of Africa was invaded. um, that's how Black Wall Street happened. Excuse me, Serena Village was flourishing. That was a so Black neighborhood. It was flourishing until white people were threatened by the economical power of Black people. They saw what Black people collectively can do when they stick together and stand up for one another, and white people were like, oh no. And that's how Central Park was built. That's how colonialism was made possible. That's how slavery, and that's why slavery happened. Slavery didn't just happen because white people are lazy as fuck and literally traveled the entire world to get around walking. Slavery also happened because the destruction and the destabilization of the motherland was the number one enabler to get hands of the African resources. Slavery didn't just happen because white people were like, oh, we hate Black people. Of course, that was a huge part of it because, one, we know in Europe, we don't have the resources Black people have in Africa. Secondly, when Africans had built empires, white people were literally sitting in caves eating raw meat on their knees, living on trees like monkeys. Yeah. It's history. Like Google is free. You can research that. I'm not making that shit up. Like most of y'all are so butthurt about my content. Oh, you hate white people. Oh, you hate. No, darling. I'm stating historical facts. If you are not able to comprehend that, that's a you problem. That's on you. That's not on me. Admitting that we've never achieved shit doesn't hurt me. I'm still that bitch. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm still very proud of myself. I love everything I am, everything I've become to. I love the way I look. I am comfortable with the way I am. I mean, that sounds like a justification, but forget. It is what it is. Okay. So in the matter of segregation, there is segregation. That's the same with white pride and black pride, okay? White pride has always brought problems upon other ethnicities, other neighborhoods, other countries, other nationalities. White pride has never achieved nothing good, not even for white people. But black pride has always been a form of resistance, a form of rebellion, and a form of pride of your heritage. And then white people are like, oh, if we can't be proud of who we are, black people can't be proud of who we are. Darling, who are you proud of? Sebastian, Melissa, who are you proud of? What are you proud of? What's the pride in whiteness you're talking about? That white people have enslaved and colonialized and colonized the whole world? Literally the whole world? Is that what you're proud of? That whiteness is being socially attached to anything pure, meanwhile, black is attached to anything negative, anything threatening, anything bad, anything unclean. What exactly? And I'm genuinely asking, like I'm asking this from the bottom of my heart. If you're white and you come up here and you're not proud to be German, you're not proud to be Italian, you're not proud to be Finnish, you're proud to be white. What exactly are you proud of? My dear, let's talk. Let's have this conversation because I really want to understand you guys. Even national pride, that's another thing. Okay. I mean, I could understand if you're proud to be a German because we have Mercedes Benz. Okay. We have established the Autobahn. Let's leave aside who did that. Okay. Because Germans like to select their history only to match the narrative of being made in Germany. Meanwhile, made in Germany is a fraud. Oh, yeah. Made in Germany is a fraud. For those of you that don't know, the law literally states any product can be called made in Germany if it has been assembled to represent or has been accomplished to the finished product in Germany. That's all. You get the products from Taiwan, from China, from Japan, from Morocco, from the moon. If you like, from the moon. As long as the parts have been assembled in Germany, it's made in Germany. Tell me how that makes sense. It doesn't. But that one apart, okay? That one apart. I can understand if you're like, okay, we have a rich culture as Finnish people, as Danish people, as people from the Netherlands, as Germans. Do you, boo? We literally do not give a fuck, okay? That's fine. Even, but once you come up with, I'm proud of being a German, I'm proud of being, darling, do you know that these borders are man made? Do you know that you could have been popped out on another part of the world? Would that make you proud just because I mean we are literally here born here by coincidence, okay? Everybody is born here because your parents are here. So you taking pride in the place you were born in gives me very much dump vibes because national pride is a very thin ice. It's a very thin ice, okay? You can be proud of achievements of people that coincidentally share the same nationality than you. Okay, we can all give that a pass. But you really being up here like um no, no, because borders are man-made, visa are man-made, passports are man-made. You're literally proud of somebody painting a card in a circle of Germany and then taking pride in that architectural result that happened to be Germany, happened to be the Netherlands, happened to be Italy. Okay, if you like, be proud of your nationality. It's all fine. You know, I must not understand everything. You must not understand everything. I get that. But proud in being white, that's why you miss me. Please, please, no, no. And then on the other hand, proud of being black. Okay. Many people compare the pride in whiteness with the pride in blackness. Meanwhile, the pride in whiteness, like I said earlier, has never led to anything good. And the pride in blackness. Last time I remember, there was a time the Black Panther Party, which was a direct result in the proud of being black, fed 1,500 people a day. When exactly have white people or the pride in whiteness done that? I'm waiting. That one apart, the pride in blackness results from still being here after 600 years of colonialism, 600 years of being slavery, ongoing neocolonization. So when you're proud of being black, you are literally standing there because your ancestors were killed for everything you still are. Please, there is no comparison in being proud in being white and being proud in being black. These are two different things. You should stop comparing that shit. But now let's get back to the topic of segregation. You know, if you don't know, my husband is black, okay? We have 3 kids together. There are forms of segregation, if you want to call it that, we practice in our household. There are forms of segregations in a sense of there are activities, there are occasions I will never take my wet ass to because it's a safe space for black people. There is a there is it's like a yeah, like a group or something. It's called the ISD, which literally says Initiative Schwarzer Deutscher. It's like a group of black Germans, okay? It's a group of black people, black Germans all over Germany. They have branches all over Germany, okay? This is a form of segregation because they need a safe space to be black on on I don't like that word, without apology. Okay, let's get it that way. Like they need a space where their blackness is not being questioned, where their blackness is not being threatened, where their blackness is not a matter of discussion. And black people can't have that in white societies. So black people in white societies having a form of only black areas, only black occasions, only black groups. It has nothing to do with segregation that the white man forced on black people. And that's what we need to understand. Segregation is not always segregation. By the way, I'm a huge supporter in segregation when it comes to adoption. I am absolutely against all white families adopting black children. And miss me with that white savior complex. If those white people really want to help, they can pick literally any child. Why must you pick a black child? Because you're blind. You're color blind. And color blindness is equal to racism. If you stand up here and be like, oh, I don't see that child's color, that's why I adopted a black child, you still literally contradicted yourself because you're not seeing color, but then went for a black child because you don't see. Are you getting that? That makes no sense. I hope you do. If you don't, please check yourself. It's it's not right. And miss me with that. A child needs love no matter from who. Yes, a child needs no love no matter from who until they become aware of themselves. And that happens in white societies as early as 2 years old. I don't know if y'all are aware, but black children in white societies start experiencing racism once they come out of the womb. And they start being aware of it as early as 2 years old. So, how do you, as an all white family, support your black child in their blackness? How are you going to um, empower that child in being black in a white society? How are you going to care for their hair when you bring black people in? And that's exploitation. That's literally exploiting the black people in your life to get rid of the responsibility you have as a parent. So, why in the world would you, as two white people in today's society that still very much sees color, very much experience and enables racism, adopt a black child and then still carry that black child to all black neighborhoods to not because that means you know that you can give that part of education to your child. So why adopt the child in the first place, where from the moment that child becomes aware of their blackness until that child leaves your household is being confronted by microaggressions? And don't tell me it's not the case. I'm a mother, my children are being seen as black, and I am still a threat to their mental sanity when I don't constantly um question my thinking, decolonize my mindset, and question the way I pour microaggressions on my own children. And a microaggression can be without touching your children without their consent. And yes, as a mother, I still need their consent to touch them. Why is that? Why is that so controversial? You don't get the right, even if your child, my youngest child is 3. She's a girl. Best believe I ask her if I can change her pampers. That has nothing to do with being oversensitive. That's teaching your child boundaries, okay? How in the world are you going to want your child to set boundaries for strangers outside when you, as their parents, don't even value the boundaries on your own children? I don't kiss my kids without me asking them if I can kiss them. That has nothing to do with being oversensitive. That's learning that your kids have the right to say no to anybody, even you as your parent. You are not entitled to their bodies, ever. As these kids came from my womb, I gave birth to these children. I went through pain for these kids. And still, I would never fully understand what these kids experience socially because I'm a white woman. So tell me how in the world you, as a white woman and a white man, are going to adopt a black child and want to tell me that you don't see color. That's literally abuse. It is abuse. I'm all for adoption in general because children in foster cares, they need homes, they need love, they need parents. But a black child in a white society doesn't need two white parents. Absolutely not. That's a no-no. I mean, you can carry your opinion wherever the hell you want. I don't care. I said what I said. So, segregation, to cut the long story short, in today's society is needed for black people to heal, which means if you have a black partner, leave them the hell alone every now and then. They need all black spaces to heal. As white partners, we will never fully understand what our families go through. You can be empathic all the way I want. Best believe I am empathic as fuck. And when I leave the house, I see many things before my husband sees them. And I am not the person to keep quiet. I am not. I will fuck you up there and then. I don't give a fuck at all. But that also means like giving your partner that respect of keeping the black and white socially alive also means sometimes you have to shut the fuck up. Because if I wanted to talk every time I see racism, I might possibly, probably, and very much likely put my husband into danger every now and then. Because do you really think that other white people are going to attack me? Absolutely not. They will attack him because he's the black man. They are going to call him the N word. They are not going to call me names. Even if they call me names, what are they calling me? We are both white. The highest thing you can call me is names because I am married to a black man. And that's still falling back on him. So sometimes giving your partner that segregation also means shutting your mouth, keeping quiet in situations whereby the safety of your partner is more valuable than standing up against racism. And that's a very thin ice because I deeply believe once you keep quiet, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. But sometimes you need to choose the side of the oppressor to keep your partner safe or your children safe. I can't always be running around accusing everybody of being racist, even if they are racist, and then creating arguments, creating dangerous situations that might put my children or my partner into dangerous situations whereby they have to defend themselves. That's literally super dangerous. So sometimes you need to practice or participate in segregation to keep your people safe, to keep your family members safe. My husband and our oldest son, every now and then they do things only for them, where they, for example, they watch movies. They are only for black people or from black people for black people. Of course, everybody can watch it. I know. Don't be in your feelings, okay? I didn't say don't watch only black movies. Please calm down. They watch documentaries that are empowering to them, that talk about their history and the history of Black people before colonization. They talk about the greatness of Black people before they were enslaved, before they were colonized, before they were turned into something that they are not. You know, these are spaces that I keep myself out of because they need that only them moments. And this has something to do with empowerment that I will never fully understand. So this applies socially too. It applies to Black people socially in predominantly white societies at all times. There needs to be a form of segregation for Black people to take a deep breath in safety. Because whether you like it or not, white people can I'm not saying you can be, because the system gives you that power, at any given time in your life become a threat to the black person around you. It is what it is. It's fucking painful and it's absolutely pathetic, but it is what it is. So for us to be keeping black people safe around us, we once have to step up. We every now and then we have to step back and be like, let me do your thing, let me leave you alone so you can have that moment with your black friends, have that meeting with your fellow black people wherever. That also means, as a white woman, taking your black kids into black communities and leaving them alone, leaving them among their own, where they are not going to be questioned. They are not going to be touched without their consent. People are not going to question their name, their heritage, their experiences. Because many times when I talk to white people, I've seen that they are like, oh, you are over exaggerating things. Oh, this is 2021. It's no longer like this. Your children are no longer going to be touched anyhow. If I could count the times my kids have been touched without their consent simply because people think their hair is beautiful, their hair is different, their hair is unusual, if I would get €1 or $1 every time that happens, I'll be fucking rich by now. And you people really think I'm making this shit up, sitting here for whatever reason? It's not like that. Like, and the intentions, once again, don't mean, if good intentions don't mean good results. Like, you having good intentions because my kids' hair are so beautiful to you doesn't give you the right to touch them, because that action out of a good intention turns into a very bad racist act. And if you touch my kids without your consent, without my consent, without their consent, I'm going to touch you without your consent too. And I'm not going to pet your hair. I'm just saying. So segregation is necessary for Black healing, is necessary for white people to reflect on our own actions and to decolonize our environments. Because segregation doesn't only mean you push your Black people apart, your Black family members, push them out into Blackness, it also means decolonizing yourself. So segregation then was fucked up because white people did it. Segregation when Black people need it is very much justified and very much necessary. So when Black people around you ask you to leave them alone or that they need a moment, don't be in your feelings, reflect your actions. You might have done something racist without even noticing it. And if you didn't notice it and you're being called out for it and you're defending yourself, you're not there yet. So, yeah.